Okay, I've never done this before, don't laugh at me, but I'm doing it today. I'm making my very first tier list. Or more like I'm learning how to make one first. But what am I ranking? Well, every single song by my second favorite band, Sleep Token. What's my favorite band, you ask? Manowar. Not really. So yeah, I'm really ranking every single one of them, and let's hope they can all fit in the list, because we got like 45 songs, and they're all really good, really high quality. Let's just do this and see how it goes. I would say it's probably gonna get messy. Behold, my first ever tier list. We got 7 tiers. At the very bottom, we got surprisingly underwhelming tier. Yeah, I know we're talking about Sleep Token, but believe it or not, I think there is actually one and only one song by Sleep Token that is less than great. And I've talked about it before, did you guess it? Above that, there's Why Does No One Talk About Them tier. Those are the criminally underrated ones. Then there's It's Fine tier, for the ones that are good, really great, but not mind-blowing, you know. Then there's Banger tier, for the ones perfect for headbanging, the heavy ones, the fast ones. Then there's Made Me Cry tier. Yeah, this one's gonna be full. Took Me Somewhere Else tier. And finally, at the very top, Worship tier. Here we go, let's actually do this. Alright, so first of all, we got Thread the Needle, the very first one. It's a very strong debut, very tone setting, and a pretty good preview of the band's whole work. The ambiances, the shifting dynamics, all well thought out. The music even gets creepy at one point. The whole band was creepy during that period. What is not so good about the song is that I found it exhausting the first time I heard it, especially during the outro. I never thought Sleep Token could give me ear fatigue. That's all. Nonetheless, great introduction to the band. Now, where am I gonna place this? I think it would only be fitting to put it in Worship tier, because it's a very important song. Why is this not working? Alright, because it's a very important song, the very first one. It's like a ritual, really. Next up is Fields of Elation. Fields of Elation feels like waking up after the nightmare that is the previous song. There's a lot of contrast with the chord progression, the arpeggios, the choice of notes and intervals, which all create a whole different vibe. Also, I think the band displayed a great Killswitch Engage influence on this one. The vocals are very impressive and strong. I feel that the band is trying to take the listener to a different place on each song, not just on this one, which is fantastic. The only issue in my opinion is the length of that breakdown. I think it's too long, and Sleep Token has this issue on a number of their early songs. They got away with it on Thread, because it was necessary for the mood, but not this time. I like the increase of the intensity, but it's just too long. Where am I gonna place this one? I'll say It Took Me Somewhere Else. When the Bow Breaks, a long, dark, and goosebump-inducing piece of audio. The build-up is slow and wonderful, everything is on point, and from the chorus onward, I think it has 3 very clear influences: Slipknot, System of a Down, and some of you have mentioned Deftones, which I agree with. The shifting and big contrast between each part is interesting and enjoyable, but it's a bit too odd, I think. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Plus, the ending is abrupt. It leaves you like, what just happened? Where am I gonna place this one? I would say also It Took Me Somewhere Else. I think I'm gonna put it above Fields of Elation. Yeah, you gotta. Okay. By the way, the worship tier is for like the most important ones, the most significant, and the very top ones. Moving on to the second EP. Calcutta really is a hymn, a very spiritual and long track. The band really takes it to the next level, especially with the vocals and the production. Vessel pushes even further up to F5, which is very impressive. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be his highest register so far. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be his highest register. All is great and wonderful until the final breakdown. Again, It's good, a great final touch, but it's too long and exhausting at this point. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't, that's fine. Where am I gonna place this one? Also took me somewhere else. Let me think. I'm gonna put this one even above When the Bow Breaks. Nazareth, like Fields of Elation, feels like a break or a detour. It's a shorter and simpler song, but unlike Fields, it's a dark one. Actually, some have labeled this song as the band's most disturbing. This is when the breakdown issue gets even worse. Hell, I think this one has it worst. The final breakdown is absolutely unnecessary and feels like they just did it because they had to. It feels conventional, cliche, and unoriginal. Plus the production on that specific part makes them sound like your typical deathcore band. Where am I gonna place this one? I'm kinda stuck between Took Me Somewhere Else, Banger, and Worship. Honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and place it in Worship tier, because to this day, it's a very important song and a fan favorite. And people talk about it very often. Jericho is something else. The vibe is super intimate and racy. Also, the band is showing a lot of versatility with the playing dynamics and styles. Nothing blows my mind more than the line, "Something in the way you lay, enough to make the dead switch graves." What? All is really on point. However, I have to point out something. It's the fact that so far there has been a very repetitive and obvious pattern when it comes to song structure. Where does Jericho go? I say It Took Me Somewhere Else. But where am I gonna place it in that tier? Definitely above Fields of Elation and When the Bow Breaks. That's my opinion. There's a little transition before we move on to the studio albums in the form of two singles, a really nice pair of songs. The first is Jaws. Jaws is dark, almost as dark as Nazareth. Psst. Did you know the thing about the videos? If you didn't, then go watch this old video of mine. I talked about it and it's really cool. The sounds and intervals are really helping in creating this dark, creepy mood. 2 is really killing it on the drums. The playing is so enjoyable and even danceable. I love the keyboard lead, by the way. It sounds so good on top of the chords. What I really want to praise is the fact that they solved the breakdown issue on this one very brilliantly and simply. All they did was change the order. They swapped the heavy breakdown with the softer, lighter part, which was made the outro, instead of wrapping up with the former. Great way to break the cycle. Where am I gonna place it? Easy one, Banger. The second one is The Way That You Were. Very criminally underrated. I love the use of the organ sound, the gospel influence. The gospel influence is huge here and is creating the perfect atmosphere for the lyrics, which are, by the way, very, very emotional and tear-jerking. The multiple voices are so well sung and well produced. The song is short, but very, very strong and emotional. Where am I gonna place it? This song is criminally underrated, so although it made me cry like a bitch, I'm gonna have to place it in Why Does No One Talk About It? New chapter, Sundowning. The Night Does Not Belong to God is a religious and tear-jerking experience from start to finish. The choice of notes in the intro is so good, and the ambiences are heavenly. Obviously, the production team has a lot to do. All hail the snare of the decade. The bridge is one of the most important, if not the most important moment of the band's whole discography. Enough said. What a great spiritual beginning to this wonderful journey. Where am I gonna place it? Obviously in worship tier, but it's absolutely on top. Next up is a super banger, The Offering. Might be the beginning of Sleep Token making those electronic ostinato melodies which they are now known for. The guitar riff might be the first time Sleep Token wrote a traditional metal guitar riff, something that to this day they are not known for doing. Nonetheless, it's great, heavy, and crunchy. I feel like the band reshaped their musical identity because I'm hearing new things, different things, interesting styles, flows, and moods. Nothing like the first two EPs. Now, the breakdown. That's how you do it. That might be their very best one yet. Excellent build-up, not just with the instruments, but also with the vocals. Also, I gotta say the guitar tone is doing a lot. Great job. Obviously a banger. But, oh, I'm definitely gonna put it above Jaws. Come on. Come on. Okay. Now, a break from all the loudness, the heaviness, with Levitate. I appreciate and admire the fact that the band is exploring different key signatures and moods. I mean, how brave it must be for a metal band to play in C major. Again, the production is top-notch, the build-up is great and carefully made. But another unnecessary breakdown. You know what? Maybe it's not the breakdown, it's the rhythm and the beat. We all know Sleep Token like to play those offbeat breakdowns, but this right here is the wrong time to play one. There's too much contrast. The song was going really easy and simple, and all of a sudden you wanna play like Meshuggah. Good idea, bad execution. Where am I gonna place it? I'm gonna say it took me somewhere else. What am I gonna place it in that tier? Definitely above Fields. Above When the Bow Breaks? Let me think. I'm gonna say yes. I think in comparison to Levitate, When the Bow Breaks is a little more on the minimalistic side. Dark Signs is when the band decided to take another step forward. This time, trap. Seriously, these guys got a lot of guts. What's even more impressive is the fact that they're so good at doing it all. They're not failing anywhere. And I think what shocked and impressed people the most was their ability to seamlessly blend the genre with metal. That's what made it so special. I think Dark Signs is a banger. But I'm gonna place it below Jaws and The Offering. Higher is a nice display of the band's clean guitar tone at the time, although I'm not such a big fan of the riff. It certainly grew on me, but it's a bit, I don't know, normal, underwhelming, you know. I think it's too different than your typical guitar riff. The percussion played on the drum trigger pads is epic. Another breakdown, this time it's gut-wrenching and very good. Where am I gonna place this one? Obviously in banger tier. Above Dark Signs, above Jaws? I'm gonna say yes. Now, I have a problem with this list already. Songs like The Offering, Jaws, maybe even Dark Signs, they also deserve, you know, it also makes a lot of sense to put them in the worship tier because they're very important, very popular, you know, they're top songs. But first of all, they're also really good songs for headbanging, you know, they're metal songs. And second, I just can't keep putting songs in the same tier. So let's just keep going. This video is for fun, okay? Take Aim is different, very different. Acoustic guitars, 6/8. This is not just a song, this feels like a serenade, my friends. I love all the sounds, the add-ons, they're all creating scenery in a way. I also love the contrast between the two voice types. Vessel is singing so beautifully here. I like how they're keeping it simple this time, no multiple genres, no sudden heaviness, just one constant theme, and it's heavenly. This song definitely took me somewhere else. I absolutely love it. No, it's above Fields. And I'm gonna say it's above When the Bow Breaks. This is difficult. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it here. Oh, you know what? I changed my mind. It's above. What was this song called? Levitate. Give. Still flirting, are we? This is like the most romantic song that I have heard in years. It's so passionate, so deep, so alluring. When he sings, I will be watching for your enemies to let them know that they contend with me. Oh my god, what? I think the band is showing a lot of guts. Because this song, with its melodies, beats, and sounds here and there, reminds me of some artists like Imagine Dragons, you know, the ones that sound like this. Overall, this song is so sweet and flirty. You know what? I'm gonna create a new tier, alright? And I'm gonna call it flirty, because I can't do it like this. So I'm gonna add Jericho, obviously. Let's see. Take aim. Yeah, take aim, totally. What else? Yeah, so I'm gonna put give here too. Now let's sort these. Jericho above take aim. Okay, give above take aim too. Next up, boom, the makeout session is over. Here comes Gods. This one is a surprise. I don't think anyone expected this. Straight out of the gate, the band is firing on all cylinders. And Vessel is screaming for the first time. It's metal, baby, it's brutal. I think they're reminding us that they're still a metal band, okay? Make no mistake. And I want to point out two things. First, the bridge. Well, it's nice and everything, but there's too much contrast. And the transition is not so smooth in my opinion. It doesn't make much sense. It's a bit odd, not in a good way. Second, the screams. I talked about this in a previous video. They are so overproduced, doused in effects, and they barely sound natural, that's all. By the way, that is still a recurring theme to this day. Obviously, this one is a banger, above Dark Signs, above this one. I'm not gonna say it's above Higher, because I think Higher is better made. Sugar. Already starting with a riff that sounds like a phone ringtone, which is interesting. But personally, the first time I heard it, I wasn't interested. I didn't like the sound that was used, and I skipped it a couple times. I had to give it a full listen later on. I didn't regret it, the song's pretty good, but that's the thing, that's the point. I had to listen fully so that I could appreciate it. The leads are really nice, the backing vocals, the bridge. The bridge is what really got me. It's really enjoyable and a very repeatable highlight. The loud chorus displays an influence from a certain genre of rock music, from a certain era of rock music. I think it was the late 2000s and early 2010s. I don't know what it's called, but it sounds a lot like it. More versatility, great work, very good song. This one is a flirty song, but it's more of a banger, I think. Where am I gonna place it? Yeah, above Dark Signs, but yeah, that's it. Say That You Will is criminally underrated. I can't believe it, this song is so good. I really appreciate the versatility in production. I love the choice of the sounds. They are creating this feeling of poignance, very deep and tear-jerking poignance. Once again, these sounds take you somewhere else. There are even some add-ons in the second chorus which kind of sound like fireworks or something. They're so good. They give me goosebumps. This is such a sad and soft track. But the breakdown, unneeded, not so well thought out. The rhythm ruins it. Just play simple, man. Plus, at one point, the chord progression goes wrong. There's a bad choice of bass and chord, which ruins the harmony. I don't know, it's so unnecessary. This song is beautiful nonetheless. Yeah, why does no one talk about it? Drag Me Under will make you cry rivers. It's a short song that doesn't need to be any longer. 2 or 3 minutes will do the job. And it's a relatively simple and minimalistic song, so I won't say more about it. Yeah, this one made me cry. Now, the tragic closing. Bloodsport. It's like he's done. He's got nothing left. He's hopeless. It's really one of the most difficult and long-lasting things that a person could feel. I'm still your favorite regret, and you're still my weapon of choosing. Wow. The vocals near the outro get appropriately and fittingly more intense, angrier, and louder. They're full of anguish. And then the outro. I never imagined anyone ever would do this on records, in the studio. Unbelievable, just tragic and heartbreaking. Absolutely worship tier. Next chapter. This place will become your tomb. They closed the previous chapter tragically just to open this one the same way with Atlantic. This whole song is basically Vessel telling us about a disaster, a catastrophic event. And if you know, you know. At least we think we know. The ambiances on the song in this whole record are so on point and carefully picked. This song gets darker and sadder, more disturbing. It escalates and climaxes in the most depressing and tear-jerking way. What an opener. While this one forced a tear out of my eye, I have to place it in worship tier because it's great and very important. Then comes Hypnosis, a total banger. Has a huge Slipknot influence, I think, more traditional than your typical Sleep Token song, but it's repetitive. The riff is like a broken record, and I personally had to wait for it to grow on me. I had to give it a full listen in order to appreciate it, and now I love it. But I don't think it starts very strong. It's a bit cliche, it's got some modern American metal cliches, plus I'm not a big fan of the short and stretched out lines, the vocal lines. Other than that, all great. The lead and backing vocals in the chorus sound perfect. The guitars sound awesome in the breakdown. By the way, the guitar tone on this album is so good, so crunchy, but is unfortunately buried in the mix. Hypnosis, total banger. Mine is interesting. Different voices played on the keyboard, different lyrics, very flirty. Also, when the band joins in, I hear a lot in effects. You know what effects? The electronic/rock project. Just like on Higher, they're showing off their new clean guitar sound, but this time, it's less distinct, but still sounds good. Something different. Anyway, this is another song that I had to wait for to grow on me. Maybe because it's so different. It's really, really different, but it's still great. Great wedding song, by the way. Mine, very flirty. I'd say flirty than Take Aim, but certainly not as flirty as Give. Like That is also different, but in a different way. First, it's the key signature, F sharp Phrygian major, never used before by the band. The beats on the second verse and the outro are sick. 2 really took it to the next level on this one. And so did Vessel, by the way, with his vocals. The dramatic rise and fall of the intensity and energy are so satisfying and heavy. Overall, this song is really, really impressive. Yep, totally a banger too. The Love You Want is heartbreaking, painful, and desperate. Again, the sounds are awesome and so pretty. The jazz in the second verse is so tasty and mesmerizing. Overall, it's a very, very good song. I think it's a bit underrated. I love the flirting in the lyrics. Fall for Me. One word. Vocoder. Who came up with that idea? I don't have much to say about this one, except that it's really great, very well made, emotional, and romantic. One of my most listened to songs on my playlist, by the way. And I'll be honest, this one made me cry rivers. Alkaline is the ultimate banger of the album. The chorus is one of the best, simplest, catchiest, and smoothest of the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years? Maybe I'm exaggerating. But totally, chef's kiss. Overall, the song is really, really catchy, and the drum fills, wow. This, I think, is where the guitar tone shines the most. So crunchy and tasty. Alkaline is really an untouchable, simple but effective song. Total banger. Distraction is sad, hopeless again. What I don't like is the piano sound they chose for this one. It made me skip the song a couple times before I finally gave it a chance, which I did not regret, by the way. The song is really good, short and simple. The chorus is really powerful and poignant, even painful to listen to, and the vocals are really well produced. The lyrics are simpler than your typical Sleep Token lyrics, by the way. The ending is the right way to wrap up a song like that. Notice how they learned from their past mistakes and avoided the cliche breakdown outro. This song is criminally underrated. Why does no one talk about it? Descending is... yeah... I hate to talk about this one because honestly, this is the song that I was talking about in the introduction. This I think is the one and only Sleep Token song that's less than great, and I am sorry. I know there are some people on earth who like this song. I talked about this in a previous video, but I'll keep it simple now. If you want, just go to the full video and watch. I think it's got nothing new, different, or mind-blowing. I feel that they did not take their time putting it together. And to me, it just sounds normal and uninteresting. Even the lyrics, I've heard lyrics like this a lot so far. I don't think they lived up to their own standards on this one. But fear not, Telomeres is next. The most beautiful, romantic, and flirty song ever. Just wow. From start to finish, it's gorgeous. The piano sound, the B major 7th chord, the lead guitar, the lyrics, full of love and longing. And then the solo. What a solo. I never imagined Sleep Token would play this kind of solo. Very Clapton-y, very tasty, intense outro, beautiful, peaceful climax, wonderful song. Yeah, this is an extremely flirty song. This is really difficult for me. I don't know which is flirtier between Telomeres and Give. Telomeres, Give. Telomeres, Give. God, I'm gonna say, I am so sorry. I'm gonna say Telomeres is the flirtier one. But the tragedy is on its way back. High water. Honestly, I skipped it a couple times, maybe because I was exhausted at this point. But I gotta say, this one is pretty underrated. The lyrics are really interesting and I'd like to be more certain about the topic. The first chorus is so well produced, especially the vocals. Vessel is singing so beautifully here. Despite the difficulty of it, this song is really difficult to sing, by the way. The clean guitars sound nice, but that riff kind of reminds me of the one on Higher. It sounds like it was put together just because they needed one. Slowly the song gets more and more intense. The breakdown is good and the wrapping up is strong and very emotional, but it's too long. A bit too long. And the riff is too much, I think. Too many fancy techniques used here and there. Totally unneeded. But overall, the song is really heavy. It's heart-wrenching. So good. Totally a banger. Where am I gonna place it? Right here. But we're not done yet, unfortunately. The real tragedy is now. Missing limbs. I know that there are many things to talk about here, like the acoustic guitars, the blacklit canopy thing, and they're all very important. But this is deeper, sadder, and more heartbreaking than everything else that has come before. What a closing to such an emotional and gut-wrenching experience. This one is definitely in the worship tier. Now, keep one thing in mind. When I'm done with all this, I'm gonna do some rearranging, okay? Now, we only fall to rise up again. Choke hold. What a way to kick off the latest chapter of this incredible journey. Rising noise, distortion. It's like waking up beneath all the wreckage. The opening vocals are so soulful and tasty. If you were a fan before this whole album came out, I'm sure you did not expect this level of heaviness and explosiveness. It's so damn heavy. The production is perfect. The guitars are so saturated. The bass drum and snare are massive. The bass guitar is doing a lot on this record. The sound is just full, absolutely full. There's no room left. It's loud as war. They're back to a more typical clean guitar sound, which I think is great because I think there's no need at this point for a distinct one. By the way, I forgot, the main riff took some time to grow on me. The leads, actually. I was annoyed by them at first, but I learned to enjoy them later. It's a nice short opener, very powerful. Would have loved to hear the chorus just one more time, but still fine. Where am I gonna place this? Although it deserves to be in the worship tier, I'm gonna put it in the banger tier. Let's see. Maybe better than Hypnosis? Okay. Or no, actually, I don't think it should be above Hypnosis. I think much more effort was put into Hypnosis. Next up, the brilliance, the magic, the awesomeness, the summoning. This was my first Sleep Token song. I remember not being able to sleep after it. It was stuck in my head, like so stuck. Everything about it is so special, so different, so magical. The dynamics, the layers, the high pitches, the heaviness, the the intervals, the multiple genres, and the overall experience. It's such a huge blend. It's genius. Like, what the hell were they thinking? What were they on? They elevated their own career with this one. They really did. This is a very, very important track in their discography, if not the most important. Now, there's all of that, and then there's the outro. Oh my god. As if all of that wasn't enough. This is how they finish us off, by adding yet another genre to their playbook. They really flipped the script and gave everybody something they had never ever heard before. They changed the game, and that's always been their mission statement. Obviously, this one is in worship tier. Definitely on top. For now. We're taking a short break with Granite. Back to electronic and trap. Very dark and seductive vibe. I love the smooth build up, and I like the breakdown. I think it's a good idea, they merged trap with deathcore on this one. I think it's not too much or too little. It's a short, simple, and more straightforward song. Very flirty and even a little bit nasty. Aqua Regia, back with more jazz. This one absolutely got me daydreaming. Everything about this is so alluring, so charming, especially the piano. This song always takes me somewhere else. Well, it's time for the volcano to erupt once again. Here comes Vor, the heaviest one yet. I like how they're firing on all cylinders straight out of the gate. A lot like Gods. I believe there's a sitar in the bridge, which is so beautiful, so good. What a choice. That specific part feels so spiritual and it's really gorgeous. Every transition on this song is great and enjoyable. Also, I find the lyrics very strong. Total banger, very heavy, probably the heaviest one yet. Now, you know what? I'm gonna place it above Hypnosis. Sorry. Ascensionism is like a symphony. A long display of emotions, desires, and hard feelings. The piano intro part will forever be a signature Sleep Token riff. The electronic drums are definitely what you did not expect. What I dislike is the very obvious and exposing autotune when he sings Past Life, Past Lie. The song, by the way, is very, very difficult to sing. One or two parts are even impossible to sing completely live. He lets the fans do it. The metal breakdowns are just in place. They all serve the song and the painting that the band is trying to draw. All great, really intense, and soul-shaking. Totally worship tier. Are you ready to get some goosebumps? Are you ready to cry again? Are you really okay? This one hit me so hard, the hardest actually. That clean guitar riff is a must learn for me. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. I love how Vessel is singing in a deeper voice, so soulful and warm. Again, the ambience, mixing, and production, so good and goosebump inducing. The outro is what got me. It hit me like a truck. This song made me cry rivers. Next up is what feels like a sequel to Are You Really Okay? The Apparition. Why? I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the clean riff sounds like a minor variation of the one on Are You Really Okay? It's like the same one but in minor tonality. I love the synth and the trap. What a godly mix. Also a difficult song to sing, very difficult. What a hot song that deserves more recognition. I'm gonna add this to the banger tier. Where exactly? I'm gonna say right here. Do You Wish That You Loved Me is too different. There's no Sleep Token song that sounds like it. The beat, the vocals, all very different. And what I really appreciate about it is that they introduced yet another possibility of what the record could sound like. But I gotta admit, I like the live version more with the piano. I think this is the only one yet that fits in the it's fine tier. Rain is lovely, highly romantic, but I finally think I can say that the vicious cycle was over the moment you smiled at me. What? Are you kidding me? What are we supposed to do with that? This one I think has a Skillet influence, do you agree? The second chorus is so intense and magnificent, thanks to the backyard ambiances and multiple layers. Same for the outro. It's extra epic thanks to the extra sounds. It's very flirty, but it's also a banger. You know what? I'm just gonna keep it in the flirty tier. Right here, I'm gonna say. You know what? On second thought, screw it. I'm gonna put it in the worship tier. It's so good. I love it. And now, the magnum opus. Take Me Back to Eden. I think it's their best song, start to finish. It's like a musical with different themes or scenes. It's the most well done song I've heard since I don't know which song. It's like a symphony. It's their grandest song. The emotions are conveyed very loudly. The chorus is sung and played in 3 different ways, which is awesome and just mind-blowing. Some parts are really touching, especially the bridge. The chokehold reference is brilliant, very clever. The final breakdown is just what this song needs. Just perfect. Thank you, The Summoning, for warming the spot. But we are not done yet. It all comes full circle in closing of this wonderful album and this amazing journey with Euclid. It's a happy ending, and for the first time, the closing track is in major tonality, and it's not a tragic one. It's breaking the cycle. So if your wings won't find you, heaven, I will bring it down like an ancient bygone. Overall, this song is really tear-jerking and draws a smile on your face because of the significance of the lyrics and the references. It's about healing and breaking free. And then there's the outro. I envy the old fans who listened to every single song that came before this, because I'm not one of them. I started with this album, but what a feeling it must have been for those people. It's just perfect. Now allow me to make some edits here. Let me move The Way That You Were to its true tier and made me cry. And I hate the fact that I had to add Do You Wish That You Loved Me to the It's Fine tier, because I was thinking that I was gonna remove the whole tier because I thought that no song could fit in it. Yeah, that's all. These are all the edits I'm gonna make. That's all I'm gonna do to this list. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching. I really want to hear your thoughts. Please comment. Let me know what your favorite Sleep Token song is. Let me also know what your tier list would look like. Also, why not make yours? Oh, by the way, here's a little review for this website. It's called Tier Maker. All great, basically, except the fact that this tier list is not so easy to use. I mean, I struggled to add the pics to their spots. I also struggled to add the images here, the images to be used in the tier list. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed once again. Please take care of yourselves. Stay warm. I'll see you next time. Have fun.